Hey Ronster, how are you?
Hi Ennis, really great, and it's great to see you. It's good to have another vegan, fruit-based vegan around, and learning from you as well. So it's always nice to have you here in Glasgow.
Yeah, excellent. It's great to be here, and it was a great surprise for me to find you and your fruit lux here 2 years ago.
Yes.
Um, Located exactly where I learned to walk.
Well, you turned up at the Fruit Luck and you started to speak to us, and I just thought this guy knows a thing or two about what he's talking about. And obviously, you've been a vegan a long time and have a lot of knowledge on fasting and everything. So, literally, we put an event together right that week because we wanted to hear what Innes had to say. And the raw vegan group in Glasgow that I run, the Glasgow Fruit Luck, we all got to be part of your listen to your knowledge, so it was very good. But I've continued to try and keep that group going. It's maybe not as vibrant as it has been in the past, but continue to, because I'm doing the fruit festival now, so I'll probably put more focus on that.
So yeah, you do have a lot of experience with fruit, so maybe you could tell us what are some of your favourite fruits and why.
I would say my favourite fruit is durian, which is kind of a cliched answer for a lot of fruitarians. Durian is obviously, if you don't know, is a fruit from Southeast Asia. I believe it's originally from Borneo area, but it's all over the Philippines, Thailand, and it's seen as the king of fruits really there, and it's so different to all other fruits. It's very special. The taste is a mixture of, I think it's like a custardy, some people say vanilla, just a chocolatey sometimes, kind of a fatty sweet taste, and a real delicacy, a really incredible fruit. It's one of the few fruits that's kind of higher in fat but also has carbohydrates, has sugar in it. So that's probably my favourite fruit. I've not tried some of the other ones that people talk about, like champadak and aki and chocolate sapote and various things. I've not tried any of these amazing fruits, so but durian's my favourite. And Pakistani mangoes are that we get in Glasgow at this time of year are very close up there, to be honest. They're the best mangoes I've ever had. They're called honey mangoes. That's probably not the actual variety name, but they get sold obviously in Pakistan and India, and they're better to me than the Thai mangoes and everything else. So durian, although I'm not like a durian addict or anything, I think it's a special fruit, but I would probably live on Pakistani mangoes and have durian every now and again. Also really loving tomatoes at the moment, and one of my best fruit experiences actually was a couple of months ago getting Marinda tomatoes from Sicily, and they just happened to be in Whole Foods here, and these were the most amazing tomatoes that I've ever had, and since then I've been eating a lot of tomatoes, but they had a really special, very strong flavour, very full flavour, and so all of those were fantastic. And I love every fruit's got a different thing. There's very few that I dislike.
And when you say there's very few that you dislike, could you name one that you dislike?
I'm not a big fan of the kind of the lychees. I'm not a huge lychees fan. And all those kind of fruits in that category, rambutans and longans, they're okay. I'm just not a huge fan of them. Is there any fruits that I would actually avoid or not eat at all? Not really, not really a lot. I don't, but I'm not a huge lychee fan.
So recently you were at Brian May, the guitarist from Queen's House.
Well, not entirely. I was I have a friend that played in a Queen tribute band, and he has the Brian May style guitar. So I was recording with him, but I put it online with the Brian May guitar, and said I was staying with a rock star. So I think a few people maybe thought I was with Brian May, but that was the kind of joke I was trying to make. But Brian May is an animal activist, as far as I'm aware. I don't know. I'm assuming he's vegetarian or vegan. I don't know, but he does campaign against badger culls and things like that. He's quite a well-known advocate for that kind of stuff, so I'm sure he'd be open to the fruit-based message.
Yeah, I thought he might have been involved in the UK Fruit Festival.
It would be great, yeah. I mean, if if he wants to get involved, if he's out there, if he wants to listen, that's fine. Yeah.
So I understand in the UK, you know, the connection between veganism and music has been quite extensive, and in North America too, you know, there's quite a connection between raw foodism and music. You know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Right.
supposedly raw foodist. The song Nature Boy, I think, was
Right,
written
that's
by
going back.
a raw
Absolutely.
foodist.
Yeah.
You're just recording an album. Are you influenced by other sort of raw vegan artists much? Does that feature in your?
Well, it's a good point, and I know that Lenny Kravitz was posted interested in raw vegan. There's a guy who is it Jason Mraz, who was often going to like the Cafe Gratitude. I think a lot of these raw vegan cafes in places like California, New York, attracted artists, attracted, you know, high end people. I don't know what you were going to call it. I think do I specifically go towards them for their music? Not necessarily. I'm influenced by all sorts of music. I don't really know a lot of the vegan connection to a lot of these people, but I've certainly met a lot of musicians at some of the fruit festivals I've been to and the vegan events. There's a great band in Glasgow called the Mermaids, who are two girls. They're vegan. And there was actually an event in Glasgow called Vegan Connections, which was all vegan bands and vegan designers and things like that all coming together. That was a pretty good night, and I must say that my influences in music have not always been vegan, but I'm certainly happy to promote that. I guess some of my songs, definitely I think your lifestyle will come out in your music, so probably my music has been changing a bit and will change, but I do have experiences of, for example, after I was at the Slovenian Fruits and Health Festival 2 or 3 years ago, going back to Slovenia, this song started to come to my mind because of this, how special and powerful that event was. I started to think about this melody, living a life of love all around the world, and I started to sing that, out loud as me and my friend were cycling around Ljubljana, the capital city of Slovenia, and that was just the mood that I was in from this amazing event. It just came out. So that song, I think, I've played that at Woodstock Festival. I think for a lot of people they really connected with the message in that. So I think the lifestyle is coming out in the music gradually.
That's excellent. So would you say that the raw vegan scene is maybe a bit more, I don't know, for want of a better word, bitchy than you might have imagined, or internecine, woven with negative gossip? And how do you think that compares maybe with similar omnivore type scenes? Do you still think that the raw vegan scene is more positive in general, or do you say maybe it's just another scene?
I think that if you go to a raw vegan festival like the UK Fruit Fest, like Woodstock, like the Danish festival, and probably like some of the events you've been to, the people that it attracts are to me are different to the norm. I don't want to say they're a better calibre of people. I don't think that's a good thing to say. It's not that people are bad or anything, but they are searching for more in their life. Generally, if you're going to that extent where you're changing diet, you're changing lifestyle, you're starting to have those kind of thoughts, you're making big changes. It's a huge change. It's a very confident thing to do against the norm. It shows that you're very independent of thought, and generally at those events, and although there is dramas online, there's very little dramas at the events generally, and to me the people that I've met have been some of the best people I've ever met, and definitely some of the easiest to get on with, the most inspiring. The amount of people that I've met at these events who have gone on to do online businesses, start events, really have a good impact, a positive impact on people, has been staggering. You know, there's been a lot of that, and not to say everyone's perfect or anything, but certainly the type of person that goes along, I would say is is more inspiring, more intelligent, definitely healthier and fitter than the average person, and I think the lifestyle feeds into that, and generally they have a bigger consciousness, or a more, there's a bit more awakened about the problems of the world, and sometimes that leads them to actually give up on the world, and you know, kind of go towards a fruit loving life somewhere in Costa Rica or Thailand or whatever, and just kind of move away from the Western world completely. I would encourage people not to do that entirely, but it's nice to have that aspect as well. In terms of gossip, I quite like gossip. You know, I'm kind of I quite like hearing gossip and sometimes spreading gossip. I think what happened was a lot of people, unfortunately, the gossip was kind of monetized, in the sense that they had online businesses, they were online promoters of their own YouTube channels and things like that, and they had a motive for being dramatic, for causing drama, for causing gossip, and the whole. I think that's the same in every YouTube community. I think it's something that comes out of YouTube and online media and the media in general. If you look at newspapers, everything has to be turned into a drama, into a gossip. It has to be, you know, the worst thing ever. So that's just to get people's attention. Really, it's all about this dramatic, being dramatic and gossipy, and if you look at, really, I think if you were to look into any YouTube community, you will see this happening. You will see people slandering others in the community. Like, say it's the bodybuilding community, there's plenty of people that have come into that, and they've started making response videos and drama videos, and there's lots of people that's their whole business, you know, and I don't like it. I don't like the fact that that's what YouTube is kind of become, but to be honest, I still engage with it as well. You know, I still like to watch the gossip now and then, but yeah, it's a shame that it's all kind of gone that way. But I think we just, you and me, we consume probably a lot of YouTube and that kind of stuff, so we're really aware of it, whereas other people in the raw vegan world that aren't on YouTube and everything, they would just see all these great people that come into it and come along and want to learn and are really interested in their health, doing something better for the planet. I mean, I think what we did today is the essence of raw vegan lifestyle, you know, being out in the sun, sharing food with friends, making a little salad together, sharing it, being out on a nice day around trees and everything. It doesn't get much better than that. It's nice to have an even bigger community, but there's not too much gossip.
So I understand you quite like job interviews, so I thought I'd ask you the classic question: where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Well, I don't want to be doing the conventional job, that's for sure. I do have pretty much a conventional job at the moment. I run a fruit festival. I would hope to keep it going. I would hope it would maybe grow in 5 years and maybe be double the size or quadruple the size, we'll see. And it would be nice to have some other things happening with that. I am also interested in doing online businesses, the same as you are. So I've been working on that, working on entrepreneurship and learning all that kind of stuff. So I've started to build some online income so that I can maybe spend my winters away from Scotland, and maybe I'll move from Scotland, I don't know, but I certainly would like to get around and see more, meet more raw vegans and be around the world maybe at more events and help out with setting up more events, putting on more talks, getting my music out more. I'd probably like to have some success with getting my music out to the world, and that's what I'll probably be working on for the next few years. Trying to create financial freedom and independence, looking for a great place that I can go for winters and maybe have a retreat centre. Ultimately, I suppose that would be the main long-term goal, would be something like what David Klein was kind of posting about. I think he has a place in Hawaii that's like a education centre, retreat centre about health and well-being and raw veganism. So I think something like that would probably grow from the festival, and trying to build some kind of place where people could have a community 24/7 that they could come and stay at, be part of, work at. So I'd probably work on doing that as well.
So ideally, if you could have like 1 or 2 or 3 retreat centres in the world, where would they be located?
You know, I really like the idea of Africa, and that's maybe not the best place, and I don't know, I'd need to research it more, but I like Africa because it's in line with Europe, so it's not a time zone issue if you're travelling, it's fairly close, it's probably going to be fairly cheap, but I've not really researched that yet. Philippines, I know that Dr. Robert Lockhart is out there. He thinks that the Philippines, where he is like the best place. You know, he talks about that as being a really great place. Cairns in Australia, a lot of people are out there. I'd love to go and visit there at some point. And why not Hawaii? Why not California? But I mean, if you really wanted to start a business, you probably want to go to California and do it, or Hawaii, but I'm not an American citizen, so I don't know if I'd ever be able to do that. South America, I've got friends in Panama and places like that, and that's the great thing, you know, because I've been to a lot of these events, Woodstock, I've made a lot of connections. I connect with people like yourself. You never know, you might come up with you might find a place, you might find someone. My friend Jim Haran, guy from New York, he talks about how there's been various times where people have got the money together to start like an actual hygiene centre or community or whatever, and then the money fell through, or things happen. But I think it's really, I don't know if it'll be the biggest thing in my life, but I think it'll always be part of my life to try and spread this information of the raw vegan diet is the ideal diet, or veganism is the best ethical lifestyle and ecologically and everything else, and the fact that basically most of people's diseases and illnesses has been caused by their diet and by their lifestyle, but I would say mostly by their diet, because the diet is the thing that people are getting most wrong. I believe, although living in a more natural setting is good as well. So I'll always try and promote that, I think.
So people with less experience, and I'd even say less knowledge than you, are already doing good things with consultation and making money. Does that attract you at all, like helping people directly, one-on-one or small groups, coaching them towards health? Because as you mentioned, so many diseases in society are becoming even more prevalent, almost to the point of, so it could be the basis of any societal disintegration that we're experiencing, could be the underlying health issues, the clogged arteries of the whole society. So, I mean, just say from this video, would you be willing to help anyone who's watching this? I'm sure that a lot of sort of more educated, vegan educated type people will be watching this by now. But yeah, I mean, what would you call your consulting, if you think?
Well, I've always resisted going into consulting a little bit, but I mean, I had friends a few years ago that were the same level of experience of me and raw veganism and veganism, and really less experience in terms of changing their diet and lifestyle. They did start getting into consulting and have had success with it, and I've always held back from it a little bit, and I'm not really sure why. And then I got into the festival and I was kind of focused on that, but I really do want to get into the consultation, and I'm starting to realise there are people that are interested in it, there are people that quite frankly need it. I'm starting to think more and more there is actually a real need for it, and that and there is a need for actually explaining to people why they should do it and why they should consult with someone, and why they should come to an event, because there is misinformation and things out there that's leading people, I believe, in the wrong direction. But yeah, what would I offer in terms of coaching? I've kind of thought about this through in my mind, and there's a few things. One would be simply coaching people to help them go to a raw vegan lifestyle, an 80-10-10 style diet, and I could certainly coach people who, if they want to do that, if they want to go towards that. Another program might be simply helping people go to a vegan diet, and then a weight loss program. But something else is food addictions, which I think I'm quite experienced at, helping people with even just giving up a food, any specific food addiction they want help with. And if I was doing coaching, I would personally want to do, 2 or 3 sessions a week. Just try and do a very concentrated burst, at least in the first few weeks, and really help people get over the physical, emotional, mental hurdles, but also give them the fine tuning of exactly how to eat, of what to buy, and getting rid of all the worries people have. It's one of the biggest things in coming to this lifestyle, even a vegan lifestyle, is people have worries, nutritional worries that aren't really real. There are some nutritional concerns, but certainly some of the things that people worry about are not major concerns. So getting people through that, helping people, just really being someone for them to listen to, so that they can say, oh, I don't, I was helping someone recently, and when we started talking, I started to see more of the problems they were having with their diet, and just allowing someone to be honest, to an honest space for them to speak about how they're really eating and how they're really, because we often lie about how healthy we are and how well we eat. So it's good to have someone that's just open to listening to you.
And just one final question. So UK Fruit Festival is fundamentally a raw food festival. All the people who are involved, who are presenting, are promoting raw foods predominantly.
Correct.
Where do you draw the line? Because a few of them have sort of said, maybe I have some steamed vegetables now and again, or I had some pad thai cooked noodles, or where do you actually draw the line? When does a person become too cooked for the UK Fruit Festival?
Well, to be honest, we have, for example, Michael, the vegan activist. People last year's event said some people were saying they wanted some vegan activism. They wanted some class or workshop about, because they felt that the vegan aspect of it was lost. So Michael was there last year. He doesn't follow a 100% raw diet, and he's honest about that and open about that, but he is a great activist, and he does fantastic videos on activism, and he has a lot to say, and he's a young guy. We want to help promote him if we can. So he's coming along to speak about that, and so they'll and for example, if there was a vegan athlete like Tim Sheaf or someone like that, I'd happily invite him to come along. Tim Sheaf might come, I'm not sure. I don't mind so-called cooked vegans or non-raw vegans coming. Most of these guys are very supportive of raw food, are supportive of the idea of it, and have learned a lot from the raw food leaders. But it's a good question. I certainly wouldn't bring someone who was arguing against raw food, or was saying raw food's bad, or was, and there's been speakers at other events, there's other raw events I've been to where the speakers were moving in that direction, where some of the speakers were starting to move away from raw, starting to kind of talk about the problems of it, and that's not particularly helpful for people. So I really try and keep the main speakers, at least the people that we promote, to be focused on. I really think about more fruit based, because there's raw foodists who do things like, who are 100% raw foodists, but they do stuff like promote urine therapy, or promote the medicinal use of herbs and chocolate and whatever else. I would much prefer to have someone speak at the event who is a popular vegan advocate that is fruit based but not 100% raw. I'd prefer that person who is absolutely advocates fruit and the benefits of fruit. I'd have that person over a raw foodist who thinks fruit is bad, or thinks you should limit fruit, or wants to promote urine therapy, or these kind of things. So that's where I would draw the line. Really, I want, if there was no popular 100% raw foodists in the world, then I would still have an event that was a fruit-based vegan event, but I would have the food 100% raw. I would always want the food to be 100% raw, because I think it creates a certain environment.
Yes, you've possibly created the youngest raw food event in this sort of recent brief history of raw food events,
Yeah.
bringing in a few young faces from YouTube, like yourself, Ronnie. Thank you for today.
Thank you.
Cheers.